Hello and welcome to another episode of Terrible Videos and Damn Good Barbecue. Today I'm going to be showing you something cool. It is the design process for these trailers, etc. Now I do everything myself. This is my design computer here at the engineering firm, and as you can see I've got a bunch of tubes here up on the screen. This is the chassis that's like 80% designed for the little pit that we have been building in the other videos. So right here I've got a structure that is 2 by 3 inch tube and 1.5 by 1.5 tube. Now it may seem a little crazy, but everything is there for a reason, and it's done so to be as light as possible. The key to these trailers is to make the chassis as strong and light as possible so that I can have weight with everything else. The brick that goes in the pits, the siding for the pits, and all the meat, etc. that goes on, well, that's where all the weight is. So what I do is design chassis that are as strong and light as possible so that I can have a single axle trailer that can hold, X amount of product and work efficiently and operate correctly without overstressing the axles that are on the trailer or adding extra weight to the trailer for no reason. Often you'll see some of these barbecue trailers, etc., are built with incredibly thick material, and that is simply just done to, add strength, quote unquote, because they're not necessarily building it to be strong or designed to be strong. So I use really thin wall tubing, and I do so because this design itself, especially with how it's braced and set up, will yield a very rigid and strong chassis without having a lot of weight in the actual structure itself. So the 1.5 inch tubing I use is going to be 0.65 wall, which is roughly a 1/16 of an inch, and then the 2 by 3 main rails are all going to be 1/8 inch wall. So this will give me a structure that, combined with all of the brick, all of the sheet metal, and the grill tops, etc., it's only going to be right around 3,100 pounds, and that's factoring in for maximum capacity of the meat itself, which is going to be several hundred pounds per grill top. So the axle assemblies, etc., are all rated for right around 3,500 pounds. So even at maximum usage with product like tri-tip, we're still going to be under that weight range. So with the technology nowadays, every single tube here is going to be CNC laser cut. So if you look closely, I've got bolt holes in all these tubes, and those bolt holes match the sheet metal structure that goes into the chassis. And what that allows us to do is to bolt this stuff together and weld it as one big erector set assembly. It's kind of like cheating, so in essence not really anything is done by hand, it's all done by laser. So there's a bunch of the plate work right there, and you can see there's sections in the plate work where it bolts in, and then it has chunks cut out to be able to weld the seams underneath properly so that we can build and weld this chassis to be incredibly stout. This makes the fabrication really easy and quick. All of this plate work is going to be CNC laser cut just like all of the tubing, and that's going to make the job of building the chassis itself a few days versus a month or so if we had to cut everything by hand. So this is going to be our dual pit single axle small trailer. Just to give you a quick idea, let's look at, we've got the grill tops here that I can put in place, and here's one that just went out to laser the other day, so we're going to have an episode on that here shortly. And those get welded up in its own fixture, and that'll be the next major phase before I send all of the tubing out to get laser cut. And from there we can start assembling the chassis. So we've got a few more components to build before I can legitimately start on the chassis itself. So I just wanted to give you guys a little background on some of this. Now this is in essence, what we do day in and day out for the engineering firm that I also own. We design, develop vehicles, chassis, and a lot of items for various different industries. So this is just a cool aspect that we get to do. I don't know if anyone else is laser cutting all their tube work for chassis, but that's how I built Megapit. And it's the same suppliers that we use for our engineering firm. If anyone has questions about this stuff, go ahead and shoot me an email. I'd love to answer questions. This is not necessarily a job for me. This is more of a passion. So I really love doing this type of stuff. It seems absurd to build barbecue pits like we do professional race vehicles, but it's kind of a cool factor that I like. So just want to give you guys a quick little insight into how the start of this process is. Now I've got like 4 or 5 tubes left on this guy, and then he'll go to laser, and from there we're going to start to assemble our chassis. I can show you something real quick though, like this little guy. So this little guy I shot the episode on the other day. It's the fender. These guys get welded up, same with all the other components, etc. Beforehand. So just to give you guys some cool stuff to look at. Oh, here's another cool thing I can show you. So this is our main bar for the grill wheel, and it looks like it's offset ever so slightly, and that's done for a reason. That is so that our cable can run perfectly center over our grill top, because the cable runs on the side of that tube and comes down in this fashion. If the tube were centered, the cable itself would actually be offset from the grill top. So we actually offset the tube up here. That puts our cable perfectly center over our grill top, and what that does is it pulls the grill top perfectly straight up and down, and that means it will wear the bearings, etc., significantly less than if it had to pull everything at a slight angle. So that allows us to pull this cable for the grill top perfectly straight. And this grill top is symmetrical and centered on the bearing assembly down here. As you can see, here's our little bearing assembly right here. And that guy will ride up and down, locating our grill top and keeping him nice and square, at the same time keeping him level. The grill top cannot sway in any direction or move. It can only go straight up and down, and the bearings keep it that way. So just a cool little feature that we have going on with that. And I'm going to show more as we start to build out more components, and as I finish out this CAD design and get everything sent off to laser. Again, thank you for checking out Terrible Videos and Damn Good Barbecue. I will see you guys next time.